Pues listo, estamos aquí de regreso con el último
Back
segmento
to the
de
last
Maratón de Negocios,
session of this
Crisis o
incredible
Creces.
business
Yo creo que
marathon,
ya todos
Crisis or
están con la
Growth.
decisión
I
tomada y
think
qué mejor que
everybody made a
cerrar con
decision
broche de
to
oro. Y para presentar
close with the
a las
best of the
personas que
best.
estarán
And
con
let's
nosotros en este cierre en una
introduce
plática
those who will be in this
extraordinaria
an
sobre una
extraordinary
organización
session
millonaria,
on
porque
a
esto es al
millionaire
final la posibilidad de hacer un negocio
organization.
millonario.
That's what
Está con nosotros Diego Calderón. Diego,
OmniLife is.
adelante.
And we have Diego Calderon with us.
Increíble maratón de negocios o crisis o creces. Y yo creo que y para presentar a las personas que estarán con nosotros en este cierre, en una plática extraordinaria sobre una organización millonaria, porque esto es Diego, ¿nos escuchas?
Diego, can you hear us? Yes, there's a delay and there's an open mic. So, well, thanks, Claudia. The truth is, this has been a spectacular day. I could say we're tired, but no, we're not tired. We're shocked. There are many ideas, many things in my head in this moment. Tools, ways, ideas, and it is very important to be grounded what's coming, because the last thing is but to start working on an action plan. I think that's very important. This has been an extraordinary day. I'll do the closing, but just let me share with you that the hottest, the peak, the highest peak, we everybody connected. And something that caught my attention is ins and outs. Many people has been in during the day. All the clicks or refresh or all the times with visuals more than 130,000, almost 140,000. Imagine how dynamic it is. That's what we wanted to achieve. People coming in, leave and return, go back, listen one and the other. For all those who are asking, it's going to be loaded in 5 languages. I don't have a lot of data. I cannot talk about countries because it takes time to collect together the data. For me, this has been quite a success. We have taken a step to the future. That's what I see. A new era with this. This has been very powerful. Obviously, there are many things to improve. Mics, I mean, usual stuff in a 12-hour event running live. I think this has been impressive. And I want to welcome a group of friends, first friends, family, many of them. I appreciate them a lot. People who has shown, proven for a long time how to be successful. If we put together their checks, my calculator would run out of zeros. And I want to welcome great friends, great guys, an incredible group of entrepreneurs, unstoppable, leading them, the great Eleuterio Caballero. Telo, how are we doing? Good evening. Everything fine here. What can I say? Excited also because production is going up. Good thing with this type of events, everything's fine. Well, Telo, welcome. Pepo Villarreal, Jose Víctor Correa, Pepe Toño Caballero, Hugo Campero, Nato Caballero, and Walter Sanchez. A big hug, Telo. The floor is yours. Go ahead and teach these people how to create a millionaire organizations. Greetings to all of you. Great. Greetings. Well, here, Telo Caballero from my home in Houston, and I have the honor of sharing with the top brass of the organization and all these things that have been achieved for 29 years in our life. And very briefly, let me tell you that many people start with things in your hand. Today is more difficult. In the past, it was easier. But just to give you a taste of how it was when it started, we all had issues when we started, and now people have different issues. In the past, there were bigger because obviously in the past we didn't have cell phones, the internet. We didn't have the money. They were around, but we didn't have the money to buy them. We didn't see results of OmniLife in health very little money. The thing is that it was more difficult to promote, to present. Probably happened at that time 29 years ago. Today, OmniLife is a reality. We're not promising, we're not talking about results through these 29 years. I mean, I don't even know the number, but 21 countries and counting problems. You have had it all the time. The biggest problem I had when I started, number one, my family is negative. The classic one. I didn't have money. I was in debt more than $250,000 because I spent more than what I was making. Not having the courage to say, this is it. Like, but sometimes, at, at least in my case, next month is a good one. I will come back. It's going to get better. Being optimistic. The first problem I faced was not having the money to start. And many people tell you the same, but everything on the sense of urgency. Imagine I saw myself coming to the present. Everybody was contaminated with whatever you want, and I need $1,000 to buy vaccines for 4,000 pounds. I get the money. I'll do the impossible. But I had the fortune of having at that time the stock to convince my brother to buy not only 4,000 but 2,000. Thanks to that, I was able. Everybody has that problem, so you need imagination to get that because it all depends on your sense of urgency, the one you have. Starting with Walter, the first guy I signed in at that time, he was a kid that April 29th, 1992, I remember when Walter signed in. And I want you to share which were your first challenges, the first things you faced, how you faced them, and then how you worked them out. And with you, the great Walter Sanchez from Veracruz, land of diamonds. Family, good evening. Greetings from Walter Sanchez. Thanks, Tello. Very grateful with my sponsor. May God bless you, Lord, to Tello, Pepe, and obviously Jorge Vergara, my sponsors last 27 years ago when I started. The biggest problem I had was I was 19 years old, and the biggest issue that I was sent to jail because of my debts. My credibility was on the floor. Nobody believed me, to be clear. I started in Onelife with no automobile, no house, nothing. But I had faith and I was hungry and I was ready to start to work. So the challenge I face is credibility, lack of money. So I remember I went to Telo Caballera, and I think this is part of that helped us build this millionaire organization. He didn't buy my excuses. That was really powerful. He didn't pamper me, tell me what to do. I will do it. You need your 4,000 points. I don't have money. He was get the money. You need to talk to people. I know nobody. Meet somebody. That allowed me to get the best out of me, and something Arturo Rodriguez many years ago. Greetings. The jump, how hard you jump, it depends on dog is chasing you. If it's a small dog, but if a Doberman is chasing you, that's quite a jump. And that's what I did. What was the biggest challenge? Having people believe in me. How do you do that? With results. Jorge Vergara tells us that if you get results, money will chase you. I stopped chasing people. I made people ask me, what are you doing? A new car. You went to Miami. A trip, yes, with OmniLife. How did you do that? So people wanted to do what I was achieving. The challenge of money was to start with a little bit we have with two products, Telo Caballero, lent to my mother. He had her sign a promissory note in his office. We sold this really quick. We used that. We had some money we need to get for our first order. So it was with attitude, with will, not buying excuses, and getting the best we have. My life changed completely. The same, the challenge with this pandemics, you will work them out not only with the tools, not only with the things Omnilife has in a video, Jorge tells in a video to Colombia. He talked about your hunger, your burning desire. All what we see today is these the tools. What Ram explained, Adrian Massis, everything's on the table for you to break away from your fears, to live your dreams. Not today, the first year was a dream. I had a trip to Miami. I bought my first vehicle, 31 vehicles, new cars. I have several properties all over the world. If I could, you can. Thanks, and I bind you to this. We made this with a team of people, with organization. This is not Walter, it's not the diamond. It's all of us who wake up to deliver product, who help somebody to improve the health. We're all purple is not alone. You do it, you achieve it through a team. And one of the big leaders in this team has been a great friend. I've been in the need to go to him, to ask him for help, guide me. Even though here's in my organization, I tell him, guide me. I want to introduce the double elite, double diamond, Jose Victor Villanueva. A big hand to him. Victor, I want to ask you, first of all, how can you listen to a 19-year-old guy at that time? You are an engineer from Pemex, and you will tell us what were the challenges you faced at first, and then what you did to work them out. But yes, it is very important for young people who say nobody will be limited. What happened with Walter, who was 19? How you listened to him, and you were part of this project? Well, when we started in 1992, my sponsor, who is up in heaven, we all have two sponsors, a physical one, the one you sign, an emotional one. You represent the emotional sponsor, but Walter inspired me, he has helped me a lot. What happened? Why I believed in Walter? Along with my sponsor, he visited for 3 months home, and one day they invite me to Coatzacoalcos, to Lázaro Cárdenas 27. That's where I meet you. I hear many testimonials. I had a different idea of what OmniLife was. For me, it was a Bex company because I was in a different MLS company, and I said MLS doesn't work. And actually, this changed when I realized what I heard, what I felt in Coatzacoalcos at your home. It was the support center, my sponsor, and Walter. What inspired me? Because Walter told me at that time he was making a little bit about what I was making as an engineer in the refinery, and one of the biggest challenges was that took part in different businesses and I failed. So this was an extra business I didn't plan to take, but it was in class of Qualcos in your business center and listen to your testimonials. Inspirement then you said you owed everything, even your shirt, $250,000. I mean, crazy. If he owes 10 times more, I mean, I can get rid of my debts. Why did I believe in him? Because the emotion he had of the things that were taking place, what was coming, the testimonials for me key. And the biggest obstacle was that the first year I was the laughing stock in the refinery. That's he's no longer an engineer now. He's a doctor, a witchman. He's going to use magic powders. Well, that hits you, but I reinforce my credibility visiting your business center Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Very good. And what did you do? How did you solve your problems at the beginning? Because they were laughing at you in the refinery. You had you had people. What did you do to start growing? Well, first of all, I said I've been in the refinery. I would follow people who don't have. So I would follow people who didn't walk the talk. They were worse than me. For the first time, I said I will follow, as Jorge Vergara said once, follow who can get you to where you want to go. I like what Telo is making, but he's the one making that money. At that time, it was what? Around $10,000. That's what you were making. So I said, what has he done to make that money? So I said, I have to talk to him. So you started to guide me because I was not only going to the sessions, I would go to your home, I would visit you. You gave me an ex coffee. We didn't get our coffee back in the day. So, you know what was the most beautiful thing I learned in OVNI life? These joint, these bonds that that is glued with this love from friendship. You founded this with Pepe and Jorge promoted this as well. Now let's go to Hugo Campero, Double Diamond distributor. Hugo, you come from a legendary family with big successes, big deeds in Omni Life. I'm very proud of this, the Campero family, and which has gone beyond in many different cities, countries. What was your first challenge? You are coming from a big teaching. What was your first challenge? How you saw work it out now that you are taking control of this big network? First of all, good evening, the Purple family. I'm Hugo Fray Compero, Double Diamond here in Mexico. I'm 33 years old. As Stella said, I'm part of a family who had taken this opportunity some years now. I'm the second generation of this business. My parents started. What was the biggest challenge I found when I stepped in this business? Number one, the people I was supposed to guide was much older than me. Supposedly, I had no idea how to do it. I didn't have results to back me up. I was just the son of diamonds, and he was heading the business, so people wouldn't listen to me, laugh at me, and they were right. What could I teach at that time? But something very important that I want to share with you is this. I was, I had this hunger, not for food. I had this hunger for getting ahead. I had attempted already businesses that failed. I got big debts very early, very young. I was 20, 23. I owed about $100,000. I had no way to pay them back. For me, it was a world of money. My parents wouldn't help me to pay back. When I take control, take over the business in bad conditions for whatever reasons, those were the biggest challenges I had to face when I stepped in. How did I work them out? To begin with, I was in urgent need to grow my business. I didn't care what I had to do, work, go, whatever. It didn't matter. I needed my business to grow a lot. I started to work with the first people who accepted me, who gave me the opportunity to. I started to work with these people very intensely with focus. We started to have many meetings because at that time social networks were not like this. Physical meetings, and we got results with more and more and more people joined this project, this initiative, and this process took about 2 3 years. I got results with these people that allowed me to get the support. From day one, I was very responsible with the promises I made, and this allowed me to earn the respect of those at first thought I was crazy and didn't want to know, didn't want to hear from me. And thank God, through work, through constant, intense work, I haven't reduced this since 2016. I'm heading this, and what my parents took them more than 20 years, I have doubled in 4 years, thanks to constance, to being very clear where I want to get, non-stopping. And I want to share with you something about the current situation that hit me very hard, especially the first week, because I am somebody who I'm very used to travel, to go to different cities, different countries, and we have this. I'm told I cannot leave my home, I cannot travel, I cannot go to the corner of my. That was terrible for me. The first week was chaos, but I understood something. This was out of my control, out of my hands, and I had to do something about it. I have to make changes because this situation deserved. The first month was changes. April, I didn't do good because everyone's saying, but amazing, impressive figures are going up and up. The business is growing. More and more people joining this business, this network, this great business. Why? Because as other colleagues have said, today we have more people wishing to improve their health, and we have that more people who want to take care of themselves through beauty, the beauty lane. We have that, and more people want to improve their income. They know with the jobs they probably had, they no longer have it. It won't be enough to make ends meet in the future, and we have the option here. And thanks to teamwork, in constant communication, using the digital tools, what we're doing right now has allowed me to be able to grow in a way I wouldn't imagine today. Thank God. I can tell you that we are in a wonderful moment to be part of this business, to be part of this project. Imagine if under these circumstances this company is growing. Imagine what will happen when things start to improve. This will grow at an impressive. It is your decision to stay with us or stay where you are. Perfect, Hugo. Thanks. What we see the challenges which we have faced each one of us. Now let me introduce my friend Pepe Villarreal. thanks to his results, to the other people who joined us in 1992 in Monterrey, they were the reason why I was able to get a bonus at that time. With that bonus, the result achieved with them, I was able to come back to Coatzacoalcos with these checks in hand, the bonus and the commission for that first 2 weeks. May 1992, I had the fortune of meeting Pepe and Luli. That's that's how that friendship started. It's continuous, growing with OVNI Life. So, Pepe, with you the same. We all start differently. You face some challenges, some problems, and share with us what those challenges were, what those, how you work them out. Tell us where you're right now. Thanks. Good evening. Well, I'm in Monterrey. For me, the biggest challenge we had is debts. I had a sporting goods stores at that time, and I had a debt. It was not because lack of work. I was working 7 days a week. I had the stress of the day. I couldn't sleep. We met this opportunity, and we told something very simple: use a product. What's happening to you that allowed me to that helped me to sleep well. Again, that was very good at the beginning. To start to see that here was something very different to what I've known. With that, I like being independent before OmniLife. I was in many businesses, but Jorge Vergara, I learned a lot from him, just like you guys. We were in a directors meeting in Guadalajara, and he said something that was permanent in me. He said to all of us, I trust more in you than many of you have in yourselves. That was shocking, a shocker for me. And I said, if he trusts me, I have to learn to trust myself. When you have many debts, you are beaten, you're defeated. But that teaching from Jorge, this constant, this working force, this congruence, I mean, for me was basic from the very beginning. How did it start? Sharing with everybody, with my family, with my wife's family, employees, customers, everybody. Whatever move, I was recommending OmniLife because there was a urgent need to pay debts, to help my wife, my children. Every time I heard Jorge trying to understand, to assimilate all the things Jorge were developing, he was 20 steps ahead, a visionary, a role model, and I'm very grateful to him, just like you guys. And then we kept growing. We have this situation. What happened with this situation for me? There was an urgent need to connect people with information, and teaching people how to connect to Zoom, YouTube. That was a national emergency. So that's what I was telling people. Start to work really hard here with people, obviously, to have closer follow or to believe in themselves, to see this contingency as a huge opportunity. I was seeing it. Why? Because we have what people needs the most. People needs to strengthen the immune system. We have it. People will also need income. We have it. So I told people, table is served. We need to help people to be focused, to believe in themselves more with challenges. The challenge this month is going up 2 months. We're closing May very, very well, but people are focused, working, because it is clear for them what they have to do. For me, that was very important. Actually, at the beginning of the month, just with some of you, I recommended you to watch this movie from Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. It's exemplary, this teamwork. Many of the things that happened there, I told them, what do you think? How can you apply this to your business? And there are many things. Resilience, you're losing, bounce back. Come ahead with all the adversities, all the problems you may face. So I have been working a lot with people on this, especially telling them you have to be where you have to priorities. The ones with more people and with them is not only to stay on the level but go up. We're working very hard with very good results with this mindset in Omnilife. We learned this from Jorge. This is to grow, not to stop, to settle. With I stay in the same. No, no, no. We go up. Jorge trains us not only to dream, but believe in the dreams. And I'm convinced that you don't have lazy people. It is only people with dreams so small that they are not motivated. We need to teach people to dream big, with dedication, with work discipline. That's what I can share with you so far. Great, thank you very much. And well, you talked about how you're facing these famous pandemics, and now let's go to my brother Renato. Again, thanks for lending me this money for this. Remember, I did pay that money back, but tell us how you faced the first problems you faced. What were the first obstacles you faced when you started? How you work in them out, and now you're facing the pandemic. What are you doing to face it? How are you leveraging it? Renato, we can't hear you. Renato, unmute your mic. Renato, come on, move on, move on. Renato, you are in mute. Speak up. Well, in the meantime, while Renato works it out, let's go to Pepe Toño Caballero, my other brother, Elite Diamond, and soon Supreme Diamond. We started together. I remember when he started, he just finished his degree. He was a great engineer with dreams and everything. The thing is that I invited him to Extravaganas in Mexico City. There was his friend called the Shrimp. I don't know what happened to him. I remember we used to call him the Shrimp. But Pepe Toño, tell us what were the first problems you had to face, how you faced it, how you word them out, and taking the opportunity of these pandemics. What are you doing? How are you using it to grow? Well, first of all, good evening. Thanks for the invitation. Very pleased for being here. The stream was very dry. As we say, dry stream. First of all, let me tell you that what was the biggest challenge I had to solve? First of all, I was in a very difficult situation in 1995 because I had a debt. At that time, we have the devaluation in Mexico, and interest rates went up, skyrocketed, income went down, and nothing compared to what we're experiencing. So back in the day, going for something, doing something different, not going for the same. My mother was the collateral for that credit. I was so clung to those promises. I remember, let me work things out, and then I go to OmniLife, and I remember I told me, when do you need a lifesaver? Whether you're drowning or you're in the beach, it's rather starting from zero, and rather than living with a debt. You have life when you close your business, you fail. We came to matter with nothing to pay rent. When talk about what I had was in my pocket was $50. Nobody knew about the product, the system. The product helped us a little by little based on result to to have more people with results, and that's how we started with a lot of faith. How we worked it out with faith, because something I learned from God. I asked God for an opportunity, and I do the work. 2 days later, you came in. I just had the. You just need the wings to know God sent you. You talk with this power you need when you're drowning. So basically coming to Merida and talking about results from other places, it was very difficult because imagine about 25 years ago talking about cell phones. They were very expensive. Placing an ad in the newspaper was expensive. Giving out flyers, it was coming back, picking up the phone. That was the challenge. Holding back and knowing that if it was working for you and many people, it should work for us. A lot of what I've learned that time is being 100 to be focused. Focus in the game on the solution of the issues. I learned this from you. If the problem has a solution, why worry? If there's no solution, why worry? You owe money. So that's why I started to change that mindset, letting go, focusing on my faith on Omni Lives. Thank God, and I thank to all those people who believe here. Basically, there are family, all these distributors. There was Victor talking about friends. First of all, we're friends rather than distributors and brothers. But faith, it's working on others, so it has to work with you. And now you're talking about pandemics. Obviously, for me, we are 75% water. When water hits an obstacle, finds for a different path. So what I did was looking for new opportunity here in Merida. They closed the store, and next day we bought the product. We had to look for different ways. Thanks to this, we have results. When you're focused, people are focused. When you're focused, people follow you. I have three daughters, basically Paula, Josie, and Jimena. The three started with the business in social networking. They've never sold anything before. Imagine each one of them, they paid more than 600 square meters. They they gave the down payment for their properties. That's what the pandemic is doing. My brother-in-law is loses his job, and they're more than focused. In 2 months, they have signed on more than 40 people. I'm grateful with the pandemics were closed. My mother-in-law signed up again. So summarizing all this, what happened because it's been 100% focused on the solution. Number one solution is OmniLife. It is wonderful with the staff, the people who are here today were unstoppable. And let me tell you, welcome for those who are looking for an opportunity. Let me tell you the only difference with you versus those who start today, start with faith, determination. It's the same company, and I want to thank how you helped us, help you meet to get inspired. That lifestyle you have, you start with a motto, you bought it on credit, and then later I see you in a golf course at a house, and then in a house in Cancun on the beach, and now you're in Monterey. I ask you, whoever sees a brother, I was a kid, it's an inspiration to go beyond and be able to do this. I want to thank you first of all, my wife Brenda, who has been all the time. She was the first person who trusted me, even though the shy one, the quiet one, introverted one, I'm a diamond. You believe in me. I thank God for being able to share with you what I never thought I would be able to achieve. I thank God above all, and I thank also OmniLife, the staff. I want to tell welcome to all who are in OmniLives. Welcome you all, and thanks. And Renato, let's see if we can hear him. The same. What were the problems you faced at first? How you worked them on out, and how what are you doing with these famous pandemics? Hi, good evening. I am Renato Caballero. Well, boy, I've been listening to each one of you guys, and you face different problems. The biggest thing I had to face at first was I didn't have this ability to dream. all these things I heard, I hear from you, it was very far because of the economic problems I have at that time. I was thinking more on the problem rather the solution. Breaking paradigms, customs, I mean, all the things that I mean that prevent you to going to making a lot in different fields. I have big health problems. My son had big health problems. My daughter Tanya had herpes in the mouth. Doctors, more doctors, more doctors. Nothing worked. Broken because of this. Obviously, the toughest part was for me to see me trying to visualize something for me. That was, I mean, every time I go to bed, it was fear. I mean, big problems, but well, among all these things, fortunately enough, uh, you force us to dream over and over and over again and again and again. For me, that was very special because among the economic problems, the problems you see, you start to feel different. So that started to work. The lack of money, that was no problem because I didn't have it. So I wouldn't solve anything. I did know it was very clear to me that I had to live wherever it was. I had to change. I listened to you many times. Before things change, you have to change. And those phrases, those little phrases that were determinant for my growth, for my development, that phrase, what's the difference between the optimistic and the pessimistic? I mean, different thinking ways. So the biggest challenge for me was starting to feel again, Victor said a while ago, the camaraderie, the friendship you experience in this business. Believe me, it is vital because the benefit is that I never felt alone. I fell down. There was Pedro, Pepe, or I mean, what can I say? Victor was for me determined, and he in this growth, in this development. I think the most important thing was you see this ability to bring back to right on this situation OmniLife presents to you because I saw what was going on. I was Walter coming in and out, and I would say, I don't know, just for naming Victor, how many times in his Volkswagen Bug or Walter shaking these branches from the almond tree outside your house. I mean, all these things for me, all these mental warframe. You say it is, but when you face an opportunity like OmniLife, I mean, you take the pandemic, see, and that's when I jumped in. I clung to it. I did it. In a given moment, just told me, if it is right, go right. If it's left, go left. So I had to do what I had to do because at first I did what I thought that was the right way. That was the challenge. I think believing in myself, fortunately, love, everybody was there, and I was able to overcome it. Talking about the pandemics, believe me, when this started, I mean, it kind of shakes you up, but how I faced it and I worked it out, I talked with friends. I, I, I saw this as a huge opportunity. Why we had in our hands the way to solve everything. A lot of people who need this was very easy. You have to start your immune system. We have the products, the company, the support. The only thing I had to do was to tell people to start talking about this because at first it wasn't very big. Then this face mask. I mean, the most important thing for people to realize what was our responsibility. Take product to the people. Obviously, that's a business, and in a given moment, what the way I cope with it is not with fear, is not with stopping. I'm still going out. I keep talking. I keep doing things. I mean, I've tried to set example in this sense. Obviously, tell people be cautious. I mean, follow the rule, etc., etc. But the most important thing in our business, I think there are niches in this business that will never have problems. Number one is drugstores, hospitals, bars. Well, breweries were hit a little bit, but and for me, the fourth niche is nutrition. It is something new we had to discover that will help us a big deal from this. So the most important, the way I have faced this is trying to do or having people reflect on this that they need more product with this bug and or any other. They are concerned for one bug. There are many bugs around, flying around, and I think on what would Jorge have done, and I thought on this. I I I got excited about what could have happened, and this thing has this general. People start to respond and open up. I insisted a lot, and I said, well, many things have been fixed, and I'm sure that this will be a watershed that because we will become a niche. For me, thank God, we are diamonds, we have excellent income, but I know that I will go for much more. That's what I believe. And for me, I also realized that this company, if I know the company thinks that how many distributors, based on what we have discussed, what I'm trying to tell you, they're short because this will become a watershed to grow double fold, triple fold, fourfold, shorter in a short time what people expect. The bottom line growth is definite. As Victor said, we are destined to be hit, run over by success. Everyone. The important thing is this is like at the beginning, but with a company this size, with a much bigger opportunity compared to what we had a couple of months ago. So basically, that's what I wanted to tell you. Okay, well, we have 16 minutes with 40 seconds to wrap it up with the time. And in this next question, it is obvious all of you work individual. You have different personalities. You guys have different manners, ways of being. So the topic is how to create a millionaire organization, but actually, this is the result, the sum of the actions of each one of you. I would like to, when I see it, I want to play it. I want to start with Worker. He was the first one who started. The first one I signed up, Walter. Can you tell us? Can you're the only one who didn't make account of the pandemics, but can you tell us what you felt that I did in actions, in words, what influence on you to get the level where you are, what I did as a sponsor, entrepreneur, friend, whatever.
Well, I participated in a lot of things. Well, I participate in a lot of things. So something that is very important because I want to share with all of you and talking about this question. When we started between panel, we are from Coatzacoalcos. Just one of us is not from there. So when we started in 1993 with Gilberto Campero, we are a lot of people. Now we are Diamond. And from that job, we have 20 diamonds, 80 gold supreme, and a lot of people. So what you are seeing right now in this panel that were broken people and worst, and a word is imagine. Imagine there were some days with Pepe Toño, and in the first event, I remember 1992, I was in a hotel. We did not have money, and we slept in our cart. I didn't have money to eat in a restaurant. So So we were a bunch of people with this very big desire to change our life, and we had something that we have this some skills, and also skills, values, and help each other. So I was broke, and he said, I will take you home. I will take you to another place. So again, Victor took me places. And with this, my question is how you make your team. All of us are OmniLife. All of us are just one. All of us want to have the same opportunity. Pepe Caballero helped me in my path, not being an obstacle. Because sometimes when you are a leader, you get in the way of others. So that's what a huge advantage. So instead of stopping me, he helped me in this path. And I mentioned this with Andrea, my wife, and something important is not what Pedro Caballero told me, but his actions. With his action, he inspires me. So this is important because when we started, I was making a line in the distribution center. And again, you need to remember, I did not have even a card. And he arrived and said, did you accomplish your 1,000 points? I was 19 years old. So that was a motivation, and that was the way. And it's not because they talk to you like that. No, it's not that. It's not like that. It's because they know the potential in you, what you can accomplish. So that's why, again, all this team, the people, we learned. We learned a lot. So I finish with this sentence. All of us are purple. And now in Coatzacoalcos, there's village people. There are 14 diamonds in the same village. So worldwide is the city with most diamonds in the city. So that's why you need to form a team. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, everybody. And thank you, you and Yvonne, which has been a very important part of this team. Thank you, Walter. And now we have Victor Correa in order to know the motivation because you are double diamond right now. Victor. What inspired you?
Ok, no sé si te acuerdes que
Do you
un día que fui
remember
a tu oficina, centro de negocios,
when I went to your
me
office,
mostraste todas tus
you
deudas?
showed me all your debts?
Y entonces, algo que a mí me gustó
And
mucho
something
es
that
que
I
yo
love
decía, ¿cómo es
was
posible que sonríe
how
con esa
this is
deuda?
it possible
No es
that he is
posible.
smiling with
O es
this debt?
o ¿qué está pasando?
What is
Pero fue,
happening there?
me inspiraste
You
por,
inspire me
porque sonreías
because
y
you
esa
were
sonrisa
smiling.
me denotaba
And with
confianza.
that smile,
Confiabas
I trusted
y
you.
luego me transmitías
And then
de
you
un amigo que era Pepe, que luego se hizo también amigo mío.
then
Somos la
you
familia.
recommend me
Entonces,
with other people, and now we are part of
yo
that this
empecé a
big
seguir tus
family.
pasos.
And I follow
¿Qué
your
hizo
step.
Otelo? ¿Qué hizo Pepe? No,
What
pues se
did
hizo galletita,
Otello
pues yo quiero
did
ser galletita.
well? I want
Se hizo
he
plata,
is now silver. Well, I want to be
¿cómo se hizo
silver.
plata? Entonces
How can I
empezó
achieve that? So that's why I
empieza
start
a firmar
working and
gente. Y resulta
working,
que
and
era
I
alguien que
started
tenía
singing
tanta
people.
hambre.
I
Mi
had
hambre era
a lot
de
of
ser líder
things
y de
to
fijar la
do
reverencia,
in that
porque yo trabajaba a
first
veces
year
16 horas.
because in
Entonces,
my other job I
cumpliendo
used to
27
work
hijos y 60
16
personas
hours
en
per
el primer
day,
año
and my
para
goal was to have
conocerte.
this
Acuérdate
freedom,
que en Cancún a ti
financially
te dieron una
freedom.
residencia,
So
a José Manuel Ramos creo que le
Jose
dieron un
Manuel
departamento,
Ramos, I think he
una
obtained
casa,
like a
y a mí me dieron
department, and
un departamento,
I
¿no?
received
Para
also
que lo
a
prefieras.
department.
Hasta me dijeron, mira, Víctor Correa se ganó un
Victor
departamento.
Correa
Igual me
has an
pasó lo que
apartment.
te pasó a ti en Monterrey con Jorge Vergara, ¿no? Mira, ese cuate se llama igual que yo. Yo no sabía por qué, porque había firmado 60 personas.
I
Entonces,
signed up 60
fue
people,
que
and
viste
it
el
was
equipo,
to continue
ver
with
quién
this
estaba
team
teniendo resultados y
and
pues
help
salió
them to, and you
Pepe
were my
Vergara también.
inspiration. Pepe
Yo no
Vergara
entendiera
also
cuando
was my
hablaban unos de ustedes,
inspiration.
por ejemplo,
So
Pepe cuando llegaba a
anytime when
Minatitlán o a
some of
Coatzacoalcos,
you were
mi
in
trabajo era
Minatitlan or
tener la mayor cantidad de
Coatzacoalto
gente, porque
was
como
to
ahora que con el
gather a
internet hay
lot
que
of
meter a la
people,
mayor
and
cantidad de
it's
gente.
the same right now with
Cuando llegaba
internet.
Pepe, igual
So
cuando
when
llegaba
Pepe arrived to
Jorge, me
our
acuerdo de Jorge,
state, and
yo
I
subí hasta Pepe,
remember
según eso
Jorge,
me volé la
and
barda
I gathered
en la Cámara de
300
Comercio de
people
Minatitlán,
for him in the
pero con todo eso,
trade chamber. But
y
in
además
all of
sentí que
this, to
estaba en algo,
feel
la verdad
that
que en
I was
algo
part of
que valía la pena
something
hacerlo
that
enfrente
was
de ellos. O sea,
greater
hubo un
than me.
pegamento, y
So
ese
there was
pegamento
like a
no tiene
click or a glue.
un adjetivo, amistad
I
fue
don't know the
pequeño,
adjective,
pero la inspiración,
but
yo llegaba a las juntas el
inspiration.
primer año que
I
estuve con
arrived
Pemex y
during the
OmniLife,
first year
yo
when
iba a
I
las
used to
juntas de
work
la
with
gerencia
Pemex and at
e iba como
OmniLife
en
at the
feria,
same time.
pero cada vez que iba yo a
And
Coatzacoalcos me
every
volvía a
time that
recargar
I
porque
was
yo decía,
in
yo no puedo perder de
Coatzacoalcos,
la carga
I
emocional
say, no, I
positiva de
can
Coatzacoalcos,
lose
hasta que
this
dije yo, ahora
positive
tengo que hacer
charge.
lo mismo
Now I
en
need to do
Minatitlán,
the
y
same
así
in
eso
Minatitlan.
me fue
And
inspirando.
from that,
Y bueno,
I
pues ahorita yo
obtained
sé que
where I
ahora con la
was more
pandemia
inspired.
vamos a hacer que
So
llegues al
now with the
80% vaya
pandemic,
por internet,
we need to
porque
do a
todo es
lot of
presencial.
through internet,
Y
maybe the
veo
80%
también
of my
que
time.
OmniLife,
So right
Jorge,
now,
no sé si te
OmniLife,
acuerdas de
I
lo que
don't
dijo
know if
Jorge,
you
que ya vamos a
remember
ser
that
60
Jorge
millones de
says that
empresarios.
we are going to be 60 million of
Yo
entrepreneurs.
estoy seguro
I'm sure
que con esta nueva
that with this new
metodología y toda esta
methodology
necesidad
and
de
this
contagiar a
new
más
need
gente,
to be very
en menos
contagious
de
with
10
new
años
people,
lo logramos.
in less than 10 years we will
Porque es
achieve
un
this
hecho
goal.
que
It's a
esto ya no va a
fact
parar.
that this will not
Tenemos todo en
stop.
su lugar.
We
La
have
necesidad de
everything in
trabajo,
our in our
los
in
productos
place,
que son excelentes
products,
para no
excellent
enfermarse
products,
y además una empresa cuyos
and
dueños se
a
pueden llegar
company
a hacer
that
realidad, no importa el
fulfill
tamaño de su
our
sueño.
dreams no
De acuerdo al
matter
tamaño de su
what.
sueño es el tamaño del trabajo. Perfecto, perfecto, Víctor. Gracias.
Victor, thank you
Bueno,
very
Hugo,
much. Hugo,
a ver, de qué manera he
in
participado
which way or how you have been
en tus logros?
participate in these
Bien, bueno.
achievements?
Bien que no he hecho.
Much more than you can imagine. I will summarize in two stages. When my father started, I remember pretty well a lot of things that my dad used to talk to me. And he said this the philosophy of 1,000 points at the beginning of the month. And now this I translated this all these lessons. This is a maximum benefit. This is very important nowadays. So one of the things that I remember pretty well was this lesson, to not wait that somebody take your hand and take you where other places. My dad used to talk to me about that, how excited he was with the 1,000 points, and that he wanted more and more events. So Gilberto, when you have more than 50 people in your chart, I will help you. And he accomplished that. And Gilberto, I will support you. And my dad worked day by day, and he was silver. And you congratulate him. And then you told him, and when you are gold, I will support you. You don't need me anymore. So with that simplicity that you taught my father is one of the learning lessons that I thank you. Your humble way of doing things. It's the things that help me. So now that I'm with my own business, you are part of this wisdom with determination that you have, with your example, with the lifestyle. What I want is to have your lifestyle, how you enjoy life. That's what I want for me, to follow your example. This is an important part for me in key moments, because you are part of my life right now. In a personal way, you have helped me a lot in order to be where am I right now. Pepe Villarreal, what can you share right now? First of all, I'm very thankful with you. My wife and I want to thank you. But I admire a lot your ability, your example. For example, in this follow up, this you ask me, what do you need to become silver? And I started with this silver and then gold. And in some way, you've been very effective and with all of us. And of course, you are someone that you know how to expand or to invest. Maybe you don't realize that, but a lot of people have learned from you, and also to learn how to enjoy this process. So thank you very much. And of course, the school of Jorge is impressive, but I thank you personally, and there's no limit. I'm convinced. If we see right now the training sessions, the meetings, we did not have this on the past, and this is thanks to technology. So the message is, let's go beyond. So that's why we need to be prepared. People need to be focused. That's our mission, to focus, help others to focus, remember what they are able to do. So if you When I talk with people for the first time, I'm pretty excited because all the things that they can do and enjoy the process. So for sure, Omni Life is a different lifestyle. So with this new board and the staff that support us, not just our net, but everybody is impressive because there's a lot of young people and a lot of wisdom that all the people need. One of the things that we learned from Jorge that the best distributor of OmniLife is not with us. So don't forget about this because it's in the audience. So this is an opportunity to become multimillionaire and you need to enjoy life. Thank you. Thank you. I admire you. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Pepe.
Thank you, Pepe.
Gracias. Y bueno,
So,
a ver, Renato,
Renato,
¿no te cansaste de tanto apoyo?
Es que igual yo resumí prácticamente
I will summarize with this in my first participation. But what is important was to do this business,
más que negocios, sí sabiendo
and it's more than a business. It's like the possibilities of this business and the fun of it. That's the first thing. The big capacity to dream,
de no tener límites,
that not to have limits.
el gran uso
This
ha sido determinante.
that what is impressive for me is how you use your common sense.
Muchas de las veces, igual en las has, estoy seguro que has leído muchas, pero muchas también son
I know that you read a lot, but some of those sentences are of your own. And for example, this 1,000 points, and you teach us how to accomplish that.
es esta gran capacidad de
This big capacity that you have,
tus resultados,
your results,
no detenerte,
not to stop,
parte primordial es
and
no, o sea, haberte hecho un lado, dejarnos crecer
uh,
a nivel que
help us to grow,
y sobre todo
and this big
el liderazgo que te puede
leadership.
porque para mí un líder es
Because for me, a leader is not somebody that
hablando
that is behind you, but is supporting you.
que querías compartirlas,
All the things that you share with us,
eso ha sido
this has been very important from the beginning, very important. How your example, we already mentioned that, and this huge way that you enjoy
el dinero que te ganas,
the money that you earn, but above everything, the fun that we have with you.
Órale, gracias.
Thank you.
Bueno, pues terminamos con Pepe
And
Toño.
with this, we finish with
¿Qué fue lo
Pepe
que influyeron
Toño.
ustedes para llegar a
So, what
si es
helped
influir,
you? If I have some
para lograr ese logro
influence in
diamante?
you from this,
Obvio que es un escalón
is
más, no es el final de
one
del
step
camino.
more.
Bueno, primero
And
que
of
nada,
course, it's not the
recuerdo
end of the
una
ladder.
frase que realmente
I
a mí me ayudó.
remember a
Yo te
sentence that
pregunté y te
helped me
dije,
a lot.
¿qué
I
hago para
asked you,
llegar a ganar
what can I
$5,000 en
do
una semana?
so I
Tú me
can have
respondiste, no te
$5,000
voy a
in
decir
two
lo que vas a
weeks?
hacer, te voy a
I
decir lo
will
que
not
hice.
tell you
Y eso
what
me
you
quedó
need
muy
to do,
grabado.
but what I
Yo
did.
aproveché los
And I
eventos,
remember
llevando la
that
mayor cantidad de gente a todos
I
los
profit
eventos.
from the
Con esa
events.
mentalidad
I
llegamos
took a
Pepe
lot
y yo
of
aquí a Mérida.
people to
Y pues
those
imagínate, de alguna
events.
manera, ese
And as you
primer
can
mes, pues
imagine, that
tratando de
first
trabajar,
month,
llegando a toda la
trying
gente
to
y
work with
llegando
these
a una
people
extravagana del
and
95. Y
extravagana
con
in
todo ese trabajo, 2 meses,
1995,
adivinen, fue mi
and
invitada, mi suegra, que llegó un día
my
después para que no nos
my
diera la sensación de que no llevamos a nadie.
mother-in-law
Y verte así llegar
was
en un
present,
avión, o
and
sea, imagínate
watching you
esa
arrive in
admiración
your
que no me estabas
plane.
diciendo el por qué no llevarme.
So
Tú estabas haciendo
with
un
your
proyecto
example,
personal
you were
donde llevaste
doing
un
a
avión, o sea, digo,
personal
bueno, si yo
a personal project and was an example for me. So Brenda and myself decided to work pretty hard, and in 1 year we have 10 person with us. So what am I doing wrong? The third year were 20, 30, and up to the fourth year, I had one boss, and I told Pepe Vergara, I had one boss with me. Victor was in that trip, and he say, well, we have with 25 buses. So that was not a good feeling. So this is the first achievement. So thanks to that dream, Pepe and myself devoted. So 4 years, we gathered more than 1,000 people, but we follow your example. So thank you very much for this. You are part of the family. And also what we've been doing is to profit from these things. Another aspect is that every time I told you, come to Merida, you went there. So every time he's with you. So I had that opportunity with you every time you fulfill. And this was very important because that part of the events, you were right. This is an opportunity to reach more people. Another thing is the pretext. Every time that I had like a pretext, you said, well, because you don't have money, you need to go. Be present in those meetings. So can you imagine? I now remember that you used to say a lot of good things, and those words were very important for us. So this was like a tool helping other people to improve themselves. So this is part. Brenda and myself are very thankful with you. You are part of this. And something also that was very important were the decision, that the way you do things. That's the part that I want to share with you that for me was very important. So thank you very much. Thank you for this great panel. What can I say? I'm nothing without you. So a big hug for all of you. And I want to tell you that about that plane, I remember that in Monterrey, all the check we went to Mexicana de Aviación. So the money was just to pay a down payment. So we rent the plane, and then we figure out how to solve that plane. So it was like a decision. So you need to invest thinking as a millionaire. If you invest cents, you will win cents. So this is like a philosophy. We had 100 people in that plane, and I remember that Jorge asked us in a dinner, and we started being in silver, and he asked, how many people did you bring? 100. And the people said 99. Well, and from there, we went to be gold and 1,000% of growing. So thank you very much. So that's why you need to start with everything. You need to invest in this business. Otherwise, it will not work for you. So what is next right now with these pandemics? as I mentioned, we have the solution for the health as well as for the wallet. So thousands or millions without jobs. How many people are worried about this virus? So it's a proof right now with all these videos that the best way to fight any bug or virus is to increase your immune system. So worldwide, we have the best products. We have the solution for everything. As Gilberto Campero mentioned one day, don't look for reason for not doing things. Don't invent pretexts. And as Jorge mentioned one day, just look for the good things to do because maybe your sons have a dream, chase your dream. Otherwise, as Victor Correa said, if you don't have a goal in the life, well, that's not good enough. So for me, you have three things to do. And I'll tell you what I did. What do I want? Name what you want. Then second is a work plan. And three, to have confidence that I can do it. Because if you dream that you will be dead, you will have your buried. So you need to be pretty optimist because with attitude, you will achieve your dreams. Thank you everybody for these opportunities. And a big hug for everybody. Thank you, Diego. I think with this we are closing pretty well with all these people. I send you all my regards and just listen. This young panel among them in 2018-19, they won $5 million among all of them. So congratulations. This is what you can achieve with your team, with your people, and with your family, because what is important is not you are only a work team, but you enjoy and your people obtain results. Thank you.